Exporting data in Power BI is kind of a snap. It's a super duper easy thing to do, and you could probably even figure it out on your own, but what the heck, as long as we're here, let's show you how to do it. So let's say that I've got this visual right here, and this is sales over time. In fact, I'm going to click on clothing just to change it up a little bit. I've been looking at that other version of it for too long. So let's say that I've got this visual here, and it's cool that I've got this chart, but I actually want the numbers behind it, and specifically I want them in either Excel or CSV format. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to the top right of the visual. I'm going to click on the ellipsis, and there's this export data option. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And when I do, I get these options right here. For the most part, you're just going to have summarized data. Occasionally, you're going to have this checkbox for underlying data. I won't go too much into the details about that, other than it's kind of an advanced thing, and I generally wouldn't select it. Usually what you want is summarized data. Here for file format, you can either export it to Excel or CSV. So if you're a statistician or you're using a very specific program or a language like R or Python or something, you might want to export this thing to CSV. If you have no idea what that is, don't worry. Just export it to .xlsx, the Excel version. That's what most folks want, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hit the export button. Right? And when I do, very, very quickly, it's going to say, all right, where do you want to put this Excel file? The desktop's just fine, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And just like that, down here, I've got sales over time.xlsx. I could click down here and hit show in folder, or maybe just as easy as I minimize this and that, all that stuff. And there's my sales over time.xlsx, right? The hardest part is pronouncing the extension of the file. A double click on it, and it's going to open up in Excel. It's going to open up in Excel. And not only, I'm going to hit this enable editing right there. Not only are we going to have the table of data in this nice table format where I've got this nice easy ability to do filtering up there, it also shows me up here at the top what filters were in place at the time that I went ahead and exported that data. So this is pretty darn easy to do, and it's a very valuable technique. The one thing I'll mention, if it's not immediately obvious, I think they did sort of say it in the dialog box. If I come down here and go to export, not show data, export data. Export data. I go down here to export data. Data exports with all applied filters. So this is almost certainly what you want, but if you want the filters to be different for the data that you're exporting, you have to change them before you export. Also, of interest, the data can only export so many rows. So if you have like a graph that has one row for every product that you sell and the sales for that product, but your business has 35,000 products, it's probably not going to export them all. In fact, I can't remember off the top of my head what the number is, but I bet if I click on this link right here, it'll tell me. So as of right now, let's see. See if I can even find it. No, not the summarized data. For a CSV file, it's 30,000 rows, and for an Excel file, it's 150,000 rows at this time. It could be that if you're watching this video at a later date, right now it's the 12th of September in 2019, if you're watching at a later date, they may have increased that. But either way, generally speaking, this export is pretty good for most size sets of data. It's only if it's particularly huge that it might get cropped.